everyone. Welcome to yet another Contact Lost episode. We're continuing with the series called Crème de la Crème of the WTC, or if you don't know what the abbreviation stands for, is for World Team Championships. Today, we have an exceptional guest. For the first time on our show, we have Gabriel Fernandez from Team Spain. Welcome, buddy.
Hello, thank you for having me here.
It's great to have you. Hopefully you won't have any secrets, and you will be very open with your answers about everything that we talk about. Then I have my co-host Joker,
Hey guys.
and our becoming a regular guest, Nathan Henning from Snapchat.
Hi. I remembered this time not to leave an awkward silence between my names.
Yes, he actually listened to me, because the last time, if you haven't watched the last episode, when we started and I introduced Nathan, he just, I think, nodded his head and that was it. So for the people at home who are listening on Spotify, it was like a moment of awkward silence, like I got completely ignored when I introduced Nathan. So this time it went a lot better. So if you are with us for the first time, this is, I think, the fourth part of a series. We've done one with Liam Hackett from Australia. We've done it with Team Poland. We've done it with
Canada
as well, right? And now Team Spain. So Gabriel, sorry. I think it would be much better if you introduced yourself instead of me doing the introduction. So fire away. How have you become the Team Spain's captain? How long have you been playing the game? What are you counting for at the WTC this year?
So, as you said, my name is Gabriel Fernandez. I live here in Spain. It's in like the northwest of Spain, near Santiago de Compostela, which is one of the most recognizable cities of Spain. And what I say, I've been playing the miniature games like since I have 14 years old. I'm actually 31. So a lot of time. First, I started playing Warhammer Fantasy Battles. I think it was like the 6th edition or something like that. And then when the 8th edition came, and so we transitioned into 40k. And from that point on, I never stopped playing 40k. Even in the darkest times of 6th edition, 7th edition, I started my competitive career, like say, in those times. And I started playing more big tournaments here in Spain. And then after that, I started going outside. My first international event, I think it was the WTC, but not this WTC, the Winter Team Championship, held in Croatia, I think. Yes, I don't remember the exact city in this moment, but it was in Croatia, and it was a real good experience. I have a lot of fun, and next year I repeated, and that was my first international events. I also went to France once in Mediterranean Cup, I think it was. And how I became a Team Spain captain? Well, I started to apply for being a player, but I'm not that good. So I've ended being a captain after a lot of years working with the guys with the team, the captains before me. And my greatest contribution to the community in those times, I think it was that I was reading like the rules and the FAQ and so on. I was like a reference for say that in some manner, and I think that's the way I came into being the captain, more or less.
Okay.
So are you a non-playing captain then? Am I getting that right?
Yes, I'm not playing captain because I'm too bad. I was better in the early stage of my career. When the Wolfstar was a thing, I was good because you didn't have to play almost. So yes, I'm a player in the national environment. So, but in the WTC, I'm the captain, and that's it.
Okay. So Spain has been, to the majority of the ETCs and WTCs, that happened. I think if I read this correctly, Spain has been there since what 2008. So what brings you to the WTC? I mean, from what I saw, the highest place that Spain has ever taken was the second place, which is amazing. But do you come there to actually win, to dominate, or do you come there for, I don't know, the vibe of the whole place or the camaraderie that is there? What brings the Spanish team to the event year after year after year?
We always come to win. We had like some previous years before me as a captain, there was like a bit of dark time regarding the WTC, because not a lot of people here in Spain supported the format, supported the team, and it was difficult to find players, actual players, to play in this tournament. Actually, in one of the years, they had a really tough moment to select players because no one wanted to come. Now it is not the case, of course, right now, but it happened in earlier years. But as I say, now our goal is to win, always to win.
Okay. And in Spain, does the majority of the country play according to the WTC rules, or do you have your own home rules, or do you follow the GW standard? What is it like? And do you prepare specifically for this event, or how does it work?
We have like two tournament formats. One is the WTC, and the other one is GW. And we have like some tournaments go for one, and some other tournaments go for the other. For the WTC, of course, we train with the WTC rules, WTC terrain, and that. But there are still two formats.
I think you also have a huge team tournament actually in Spain, right? That gathers like in around 600-700 people. So does that use the WTC format, and is it really that popular, and is 40K competitive popular in general in Spain?
Yes, it is quite popular, but maybe, the Talavera GT is the one you are talking about. It is the biggest one here in Spain, and it gathers, like, as you said, like 600, 700 people. I think last year were like between like something like 480 players, but it is a quite big amount, even that. And that tournament specifically is WTC. I think the last 2 years was WTC. I'm sure the last year was WTC, but I'm not 100% sure if the year before was WTC. But yes, there is a lot of community here, and Talavera is the biggest, but there are a lot of big tournaments here that gather a lot of people from different parts of Spain, which is very good, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the first things I heard about Spain was both Talavera, but then also some of the single events that were very large also. It's one of the first times that I'd heard anything about somebody was like, yeah, so LVO's got competition in Spain, which was not what I predicted like at first. But one of the things that's interesting to me is you said that WTC is not like a very heavily supported like team environment previously. Was there a reason for that in Spain?
I think in the earlier years, the team was made. Well, I made. If you want me to explain how I made the team, or maybe I can talk about it later, however you want. But in the earlier stages, it was like one guy just decided the whole team practically, and maybe that was like not good impression for everybody, and understandable, of course. And I think that's the point that brings people to be a little away from the system, you know.
Yeah.
And the captains after the first one, I think they try to open the community, try to open the team to make everybody just be a part for the team, or try to be a part of the team. But it is hard when you have the first impression, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I guess
even in my experience, I have like the consequences of that. I'm still like seeing like a guy who selects the team and that's it. I don't know how to express it, but I think you understand me.
Yeah.
I guess that leads naturally into the next question, which is how do you select your team in Spain?
Yeah. This year, I select the team, but not only myself. I have a coach. So we both selected the two first players of the team, which were like the best players. I think everybody in the competitive scene in Spain will select the same two players. So I don't think anybody has a complaint about that. And from that point on, we stayed selecting two people into two people. I mean, the coach, and the two selected players chose another two players. Then the all selected players and both us selected another two and another two. That's the way we picked the team this year, according to the results, according to the participation, according this year to the time available to play, because it was expected to be the new edition, and that point was a bit hard for us because the team was selected and we don't know anything about the meta, about the rules. It is changing too much and the game is totally different. So this year it was a bit of a challenge to pick the team. It was a little blind pick in the end because we don't know that many things, but in the moment the team was selected, I think it was the best team we could get.
All right.
So who? Oh, go ahead.
Hey, go on, Nathan. Go on.
Oh, I was just going to ask, who is on the team then? Who do you have on your team this year?
I have the first two players were Luis Toroxer. You might know him because he went to Las Vegas. He went to a lot of tournaments internationally. He also has a golden ticket from here in Spain. And the other one is Ivan Andres, which is called as Wagdog. I think it is his nickname. He also participated in some tabletop simulator tournaments against Poland and some scrims against France and so on. And he had a stellar participation these 2 years, this year and the last one. So both of them were, I think, the first two expected players to be in the team. Then I don't remember the order exactly, but there were Raven, which is not Raven. I am Raven. He's Raven, which is Gonzalo. He's from Spain. He is a really good player, very young, and I think he also got a golden ticket from Spain, from the Andorra GT, I think.
Yeah, recently
So,
I don't know if it was StatCheck or 6+++ or some other place where they were reviewing the lists of people who have won events, and I remember Raven was there, and they were, whoever the host of the show were, they were deliberating whether that is a name, a surname, or a nickname, but it stuck with
definitely
me.
a nickname.
So I guess he won at GT or something not so far ago. Maybe it was even for the golden ticket. I can't remember. But definitely, yeah, the name stuck with me.
Yes, I think he won the Andorra GT.
Yeah.
And got a golden ticket from that.
Mm-hmm.
The other players are Deckers, who is one of the veteran players. I think he didn't go to every ETC, but almost. So he's a real veteran, and he all the time he went, he did a good tournament. So we expect him to do a great job this year too. Then we have another veteran who is Odro Roger, which is from the East Spain of Spain, which is also a veteran from the past, and he's doing a good job. What more we have? We have Alejandro Mancuso, which is one of the best individual players we have here in Spain. Then we have Marco.
Remember the last one?
Yeah, it is I don't even know who I said already. Marco is the captain of the best team here in Spain, which is Conclave. They won all the tournament, the team tournaments they went. They win or they stay in top 3. So here's the captain, and he's a real good player, a safe player, and I think he will do very well here in the WTC.
Nice.
What else do we have? Let me double check my list because I need some memory. Mhm.
You don't want to forget anybody. Somebody
No,
might
I don't want to offend
light up
anybody.
your Discord DMs later.
Yeah, you didn't say my name.
How could you?
Okay.
Although I
Okay,
must admit that
okay.
from
Oh, we
what
have
you
a.
Yeah, go on.
Tell me.
I just wanted to say that from what you've already mentioned, it sounds like a powerful roster and like a roster of this mixture of both young talent and seasoned players with experience, or at least that's what I make out of it.
Yes, that was the intention, not the intention. I mean, there was not the goal of the team, but it is nice to keep players from the past because they have the experience from the WTC, from the pressure of the rounds and so on, and you have to keep fresh players that bring the emotion, bring the passion. I think it is needed in any team, both of these things. The last player is Manuel, which is probably one, if not the best, one of the best players we have in Spain, as the same as Mancuso. And this guy already won the individual fantasy 9th age WTC.
Okay.
And the team event,
Wow.
WTC Fantasy Edition too. So this guy is a power track, and he's doing great in 40K too. So we expect him to be a star.
Okay, so yeah, there is
that's
a
the
lot
complete
that we can
roster.
share.
And we have Chandre, which is the host from the La Voz de Horus, which is a famous podcast here in Spain, which is our coach.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
And how many non-playing staff are you bringing? Because you've got yourself, the non-playing captain. You've mentioned the coach, but I didn't make whether he's playing or not. Well, I guess if a coach, then he's not playing. Is there anyone else?
Only me as a captain, Chandra as a coach, but he's in the organizing team, so maybe he cannot bring that much of a help in the tournament in that moment, but he will try, I guess. And we have the recording team, which is from the organizers of Talavera GT, which is El Cobrador del Guaj. It is the name of the club. And one of the guys, I think he's coming to record, to stream, and to just come with us in the tournament. But only me and Chandra as coaches and non-players. That's it.
So you've explained what your role as a non-playing coach before the event is going to be, but to our listeners, to people who for whom it might be the first experience with the WTC at all, like what's the point of a non-playing captain at the event? Is there any specific role that you're going to play?
Well, I think it helps with the parents to be outside of the gaming table, because you don't have that pressure of I have to finish my parents and go to the table and play, and everyone sees his pairing in a particular manner. I think it's good to have a person outside of the gaming that has a particular side of everything, instead of my pairing and my focus, and that's it. I think it's good for the parents. And last year's, I think now we all know how to pair. We all know how to cover the matrix, how the pairing works. But in earlier years, it was a very difficult thing to do, and a very tiring thing to do. So it is nice to have just a guy that does the pairings, and that's it, because you end a little bit of tired about doing the process of pairings, and I think it's good that the captain just do the pairings and that, or you have a person that carries the weight of a pairing, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And apart from the parent, it is good to have a person who helps you with the language barrier, which is, we are Spanish, so our English is,
You said that.
it is a real thing. I try to do my best, but I'm not the greatest English speaker. but I think I am one of the best speakers in my team, so you can see the problem.
Again, you said that.
Yeah,
and
it
you're
is the
doing
real
great.
thing. Yeah. It is the real thing. But apart from the language, it is nice to have some people that just checks the rules, checks the FAQ, brings water. It is important to just to stay focused on the game for the players, and anything that comes outside of their moves, their things, that have a people that supports them. And if someone gets a bit mad, it didn't happen to me because the last year was very, very nice for me. It was a really pleasant experience. But it can happen. It happened that a person just get out of his mind. He gets mad or something, and you have to just stay with him. And he's a person. He has his rights to be mad for anything, and you have to support your players and help anybody that needs some help.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that because essentially, to me, that the captain, especially a non-playing captain, I think that person must be like his own team's biggest cheerleader, because it's not only about doing the pairings, the matrices, whatever, but it's also about motivation and morale on the team. So have you had you said, I don't know if it was in the pre-show or already in the recording, but you said that you've been captain for 4 years. So in your 4 years of experience as a captain, have you ever had to lift someone up or help the team get back on track or something like this?
Well, I have to say that I cheated a bit in the 4 years because 2 years there was no WTC. So
okay. That's how
I
you
gather
on
a
your
team.
CV.
I gather a team. I play with the community, but there was no WTC, so it doesn't count in reality. So
Gotcha.
my only year as a captain in the tournament was last year, and
Okay.
last year I didn't have any problem with any player because they were amazing, every one of them. Every single one of them were
nice.
Of course, you have some tension in some games, but it is normal. It is a high tension moment, and you have some discussions. But that was it. No problem at all, I think.
Which is testament to the fact that you must be a good captain and you selected a good team if there were no tensions and so on. So, I mean, kudos.
Thank you.
All right, guys, do you have any questions, or should I just shoot with mine?
oh no, I was like
on.
asking fun questions. So which team is Spain gunning for? Who is the rival team for Spain? Who do you want to beat, and why? Why do you want to beat them in particular? Well, I want to hear some trash talk on this episode. It can be England. You can always say anybody but England and just go on that.
We have something like this, like England trash talk here in Spain, but with the Andalusian guys, with this southern guys. I don't know why. I actually know some of people there, and they are everyone is fine, but we trash talk them with no reason, I think. So, and according to your question, we have well, personally, because it was my experience last year, I have like 3 teams, 4 maybe, that I want to beat, but we have a really good, I think, relationship with them. Well, the first one is Australia. I don't have any relationship with Australia, and we didn't play against them, and we don't have any contact with them, but I want to play against them, because for me it is a complete mystery how a team that is in like the other part of the world, with no contact with Europe, with North America or so on, or Poland, which is like the strongest team, are North America, maybe Poland, and they are like away from it all. And they managed to win the individual tournament and the team tournament. And they also won like the best sportsmanship. So for me, it is completely amazing, and I cannot understand how they didn't even play Tabletop Simulator. So for me, it's total mystery how they managed to do that, and I want to play against them this year to check how the fuck they do.
Yeah, I mean, they do it. They, first they came for our Eurovision, and then they came for our WTC. I mean,
Australia gets to
No mercy.
Australia?
Don't they have their own continental
Yeah,
competition?
Australia.
Wait, time out. Australia competes in Eurovision?
Yes, it does. That's I don't know
First
why.
time I noticed
won
that.
one yet. I think they've yet to win one, but yeah, they've been attending for the last couple of years.
They've been doing better than Poland, definitely.
Oh, who
And
hasn't?
Spain, probably.
Exactly. So,
Oh, but now I
Okay.
gotta know, who are
Australians.
the other 3 teams?
The
Who
other
are
three,
these-
the first one is Poland, because of course they are one of the top dogs of the history of the ATC, and we played against them like in a lot of TTS. Now, these last months, we didn't play against them, but the last year was like, I don't know, we played 5 scrims against them or something like that. A lot of them we won, and some we lost, of course, and some we draw. But it was a real competition, you know. It was a very tight games, and it was a real pleasure. And last year was I don't remember who was the captain, but it was a pleasure to play with them. It was very nice, and they are top dogs, so you always want to win against Poland. The third one is Germany, because we played against them last year in the group stage, and Lim, who was the captain last year, was telling me, "Oh, you win, don't worry, you win." And I was saying to him, "No, mate, we are lucky if we draw," and we ended up losing, and it was a deception. Of course, it was a very bad thing. But it was a pleasure to play with them, and Lim, he is just a god. He is a real good person and a real good captain, and it was a pleasure to meet him last year. I think this year is just with the rules team, so he's not captain of the team Germany anymore. I don't know who is the team Germany captain right now, but I expect him to be as good as Lim, and so the standards are very high.
Oh.
And
We'll
we want to get our revenge of last year, of course. And the last team is England, because England, of course. But nothing bad. We fight against them in the last round of the WTC last year, and they were as demolished as we were, because our expectations of the WTC last year was to end up in the top. Maybe not winning, but it was our aim, the same as this year. The goal is always to win. But last year we practiced like a lot, and we have had a lot of work on our shoulders. But we got fucked about the last changes. I don't know, the balance data slate. The last balance that slate that entered WTC fucked us big. Because we ended up
right?
yes, it was like 2 or 3 weeks before the dead list, and that was awful for us, because we don't have the tools to gather all the team like other countries do. They gather like a week before the sending of lists, and they gather all the team, and they keep like 1 week of practice. We just practice like a weekend, and yeah, it was a mess for us. So we got one army totally wrong, so that penalized it like a lot for us. And England, I think they lost more or less the same rounds as us, and they came there to win. They had Manichima on the team, and like a lot of personalities, and I think it was a bad tournament for them, the same as for us. So we lost against them, and that was even worse for us. So we need our revenge too.
Awesome. Revenge is always a good motivator.
Yeah. But I have to say that the environment and the community there, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, and you've brought us some interesting stories, so I think that's what it's all about at events such as that one. Obviously, apart from winning the whole thing and showing everyone who's boss.
Yeah, that counts. That definitely counts.
Are you going to do anything different this year to kind of get around what you just said? Are you guys going to have one last major team meeting if they drop a balance patch right before rules drop this year?
Well, last year was like my real first year as a captain regarding to the tournament itself. So it was a bit of a lack of experience from my part. So it was my bad. I already told the team it was my bad because I think some things could have gone differently with more preparation, with more carefully seeing the dates and so on. And I think this year we have it we already have set the meetings according to the list submission before and after the list submission. I think it is a bit more calculated than the last year. So for my part, I think I'm doing better. The team was selected by everyone, so I think that's better also. So I don't know how I could improve this, but we'll see later, of course, with the feedback we got from the tournament.
So whilst we're on the topic of preparations, how did your preparations look this year then? Did you do more or less TTS scrimmages? Did you maybe travel abroad to participate in events in other countries to get that more international playing experience? Or maybe you've had just a lot of team meetups and try to test within the team? Anything that stands out?
Well, it is a bit of a difficult thing to prepare for this year because it is 29 of June and we didn't have the final missions of the that will be played, and we don't have the terrain, so it is playing in a vacuum for the moment. So it's a bit hard for us to prepare. The plan is to just play as much as we can. Tabletop simulator, of course. I don't think we have any scrim because the crossing information with other teams can be bad, even because the data exchange, you can see the list and you don't even with things you didn't even think about it, and it can be a good thing, of course, for the team that gets the idea, but the bad thing for the team that gives the idea. I don't know if I'm explaining correctly.
Yeah.
But we play.
You want to give away the golden goose or anything like that. Your plans.
I guess all the teams are doing something the same like that, because last year, as I've said earlier, we had a lot of screams, and for the moment, I didn't receive any notification about any team wanting a scrim against Team Spain. So I guess all the teams are in the same point. So the plan is to practice TTS, of course, and when we have the final tables, it will be better. It will be a real testing. And we have 2 meetings, as I've said, one before the list and one after the list, and the national tournaments that come in that for the date. And I think we are not going out for the international events for the moment, because I think the main reason here is we are not fucking rich. And everybody is spending his money and his summer vacations on the WTC. So for us, it is a big impact because we don't have a lot of support from the community money-wise. This year, I try to make some contribution from the community in a form of €1 per participant in the WTC circuit for tournaments. But it was not well received, because the ideas from the people here in Spain, it's a bit like I am giving money for others to go to the WTC, and maybe goes a cheater or a toxic player, and I don't want to give any money to that shit. Okay, it's understandable, but we are not the Team Spain that was like 100 years ago. So it is not the same thing, but here people in Spain still sees the thing something like that. So we have almost zero support from the community money-wise. Of course, there are a lot of people that encourages the WTC, that helps the team a lot. But for the part of money, everyone is putting his money, and it is a bit of inversion,
Yeah, it's completely understandable. I mean, it's probably an issue that most or many of the teams that the WTC actually struggle with, because you mentioned the Australians who have to travel half of the world, so do the Americans and so on. But even if you're in Europe, I mean, Polish team also has, and I don't know if it's a topic that has been mentioned before, but the Polish team needed to create like an association that somehow collects money to send people to the WTC. They cooperate with a shop here in Poland that basically, like, whenever they do a podcast, for example, they put a link, and it's called an affiliation link, in their description. And if you click on that link and buy something on the website, a certain piece of the price that you pay for the goods goes towards the Polish national team, so that they can actually afford to go to the WTC. It isn't a very broadly brought up topic, I guess, but it's a struggle for the majority of the teams, I would say, not just Spain.
Yeah, I know that Canada also has sponsors for their team. I think Creature Caster is one of their sponsors, for example. Like,
hats off to Creature Caster, by the way.
Hats off to Creature Caster for sponsoring one of their national teams. Somebody in Spain, I don't like, pick that up. Pick up that sponsorship deal. Come on, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Go for it.
Maybe with another captain, because I'm too ugly, so I don't attract people.
I mean, you know, you clearly have a knack for gathering the right people around you. Just find the person who can get you a sponsor, and that's it.
I try to gather some money with the as I've said, the tournament circuit, but I don't even know what I was talking about. Okay, let's go with another topic.
yeah, don't worry. You've mentioned the community, that you don't have a lot of like community support money wise. So let's not look at money wise. Let's look at, you know, the other kinds of support. So is there any expectation in the community towards the national team, like, or is there any support and backing, like, you know, people actually cheering at home when you are there?
Yeah, are people following? How are you getting on during the event, etc.?
Yes, there are. We have created a WhatsApp group which now has like 130 more or less people interested in the WTC competitively. So everything that surrounds the team, I post there, so people are informed about that. And when the tournament itself comes up, there are a lot of people in Instagram. Maybe Facebook is not the preferred method, but in Instagram and in the WhatsApp groups, there are a lot of activity, and they are asking for news, and they cheer, they support the team. So yes, maybe it's not the greatest of the community, the biggest part of the community, but it is a part important, and we appreciate that, of course.
Are you on Discord, and is there any Discord community in Spain?
No, well, we have one for the tabletop simulator, but not related with WTC. You ask for a game and you have it, but not related with WTC. We only work with mostly with WhatsApp, Instagram, and that's it for the moment.
That's also interesting, because every single country seems to be, like, you know, gathering their community around the team in a different way. But I think what Poland, the United States, Canada, Australia have in common is that they all moved away from like forums and not the old ways into Discord, which, you know, in Poland at least, that exploded. And last year, the following during the event was mind blowing. So maybe that's an avenue to explore, or something like that.
Maybe we can try next year.
Okay.
Joker, Nathan. Again, I have plenty of questions that I don't know about you.
I've got one as well, and that's related to the tournament itself. So, and I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask anyway. So, how do you feel about the situation that we're currently in? So, like you said, no maps. New edition just dropped, so the meta is a bit unknown, although we're getting some first numbers and impressions from tournaments around the world. Does that give you a feeling of confidence that maybe this is a chance to challenge the top teams, or does it make you feel a bit uncomfortable because you don't feel as confident maybe in creating some rosters of your own that can define the meta?
It is difficult to evaluate the meta right now, because we all know, I think, who is the top boss, which is the Eldar, which is the Imperial Knight, which is the towering keyword.
Yeah.
And we don't know how were the tables, the games, the reported games were, because they had windows. What was like that? Because the towering keyword is pretty amazing, pretty powerful, and it depends. But it depends on a table. So if you play in a table with everything open, and of course the Imperial Knight is king, and you got the 5-0 in a tournament with this, because I think the game is not designed for that, because you need, if you are playing with towering, you need some ruins that really obstructs line of sight, not with the open windows. So it is I don't know how to evaluate the results here, because I don't think it's the real game which will be playing at the WTC. And according to the Eldar, we all hope that there will be some kind of smash to points, dices, or something like that. So maybe we don't have the full picture of the armies we will play. So I think we have to take the results that are coming with a bit of salt, I think. Of course, the rules are there, and we all know the numbers. If you get a right knight with 3 6s, you kill everything, and that's it. And then you play 3 right knights, and you win everything. I think we know that it's not going to be the way. So according to us as a team, I think we have like 5 rosters or something like that, pretty defined. Even though they change something, I think we are a bit of comfortable in the point we are with 5 people, I guess. Maybe we have some doubts with 3 people, how to focus them pairing wise, list wise. And I hope to know more about that in the next weeks, so we can just say something like more final, I guess. But yes, we are comfortable in the from 5 people right now.
Okay. That seems to be like pretty common from the WTC community, from what I've been hearing from people on teams, is that their first like 5 or 6 are real easy, and then the last 2 are very hard.
Yes, we had a problem last year with the last one, which was like a 20-0 every round. So the last 1 or 2 picks are the real problem, I guess, because you can end up with a wrong list that fucks all the pairings, because you cannot start the pairing with a 20-0 every round. It is a lack.
I mean, if it goes wrong, you can blame the new edition. If it goes right, you can say, like the Australians did, that you were very creative with your lists. And
yeah, for sure, but I don't know if that will happen.
Yeah, fingers crossed that it actually does. So tell me this, do you invest any time into, out of lack of a better word, spying on other teams? So do you try to find out what the other teams are doing, what they're going to bring, what lists they're trying out, and so on? Is any effort going into this, or are you rather focusing on your own development, your own list choice, etc., etc.?
If I tell you that 10 minutes before this interview I subscribe to BCP, gives you some kind of clue.
Okay, understood. All right, so tell me this, because there are 4 newcomers this year. There are 4 new teams that haven't been there before. I think it's Cyprus, Israel, South Africa, and New Zealand. Do you know anything about those teams, or will this be like a complete dark horse in this year's event?
This year I don't know much about any team, actually. Last year I was chatting with with Netherlands, for example, exchanging lists and preparing things together and screaming and so on. But this year, I think I don't know anything about anyone. So even Germany, Poland, which are teams who with good relationship and we played against them, we don't know anything about them. So I don't even know who is the captain even from these four new teams. Of course, I don't know anything.
Okay. All right.
But because I'm a bit lazy of trying to spy, as you said, it's not my thing.
I mean, with the new edition and everything that is going on, it's just difficult to keep up with everything, especially with rules changing all the time, etc. I can completely understand that.
Yeah, captaincy changes and so on. I think I have enough with my team, who are just a bunch of kids, and and that's enough. You wanted trash talk, no?
I wanted to ask. I mean, I don't know if Nathan or Joker want to shoot with a question, but yeah,
I have one more question. Yeah. So for people who don't know a lot about the WTC or who are maybe more getting interested in the WTC, for people who live in Spain, what is the method for getting involved with the WTC team in Spain?
Well, first of all, you have to play in the WTC format team tournaments, which are, here in Spain, we play a lot of team tournaments. There are not that many individual events, but team tournaments we have like, I don't know, between 20 or 30 a year. I don't know. I'm just talking about just talk for talk, but a lot of team tournaments. And if you are a good player, you will. If you play in these tournaments and then in the circuit from WTC, you are seen. So the results are there. So first of all, you have to play, and that's it. If you play and you are interested, you will eventually contact someone that is in the WhatsApp group, because I know a lot of people, and physically I don't have met not even the half of the group. So anyone that really wants to be a part of the WTC community, I think they have no problem with that. Just contact us, mail, Instagram, Facebook, or anything like that, or ask a friend who is within the WhatsApp group, and he joins. Actually, today I added one person to the group. Yesterday I added 3 people or something like that. So the group is totally open for anyone that wants to get in, of course.
And are your events welcome to people from abroad as well? Or does it happen that people come? Because, Spain usually gets invaded by the British during the summer and so on. So do they come and play at your events as well? Or is it like mainly Spanish people over there?
Mainly Spanish people. I don't know why, but mainly Spanish people. Talavera, yes, was a tournament that brings some people from the outside of Spain, but I don't think any other tournament got that.
Okay.
So if, say, somebody who comes from an English-speaking country wanted to play in Spain, is speaking Spanish probably a good thing to be able to have if you're going to play at Talavera or at one of the team events there?
Yes, it is not needed because now a lot of people can play in English, but speaking, well, like me, just trying to. But I think, for example, in Madrid, you don't have any problem. You won't have any problem to play in English.
That's cool. And good to know. So everyone, if you're interested, hit Madrid. So I really have maybe a weird question. Again, a question that I don't think we touch upon a lot during the show, but something that I personally find extremely interesting. So if not for anyone else, it's for me. The WTC is a place where, I mean, you have 34 teams of 8 players, so a ton of people. Many of those people are famous around the world.
Are sweaty as fuck, you mean?
Well, one of them, but there are people who have YouTube channels. There are people who have I don't know, coaching services and so on. There are people who, like Nathan and all the people from StatCheck, they just have an awesome show that many people watch. So your team is going to face those people David Gaylord from New Zealand, Innes from Scotland, Anthony Vanella from the United States, and so on. Does this cause any issues? Are people, or is it possible that the people facing internet celebrities will feel starstruck? And then what would be your approach to dealing with that?
I don't think that it's a problem because here in Spain, the top tables are usually streamed. So I think people is used to be on the internet, be on live. So I don't think that's a problem. Maybe playing against, for example, Nick Naravati or something like that, or Manny Chima, who are famous players. Maybe our players are a bit scared, but I don't think there is the real problem there. Because they have a strong mentality to just smash them.
Okay, so you did mention this a little bit, but we didn't really delve into the topic. But is there a Spanish YouTube scene that we should know about, or is there anything that you maybe could recommend to our viewers to go and check out?
Well, there are two big channels that do battle reports and community content like hobbying and something like that. The first one is Strategas Wargames, which is mainly battle reports and competitive analysis. And the other one is Deep Games, which is one of the most famous. And these guys do battle reports, but also painting and stuff like that. I think these are the main two channels here in Spain. Of course, there are many of them, even in Twitch. We have La Voz de Horus, which is our greatest podcast. It is big and very listened. And I think they have also a Twitch channel. But I'm not that fan of the YouTube thing, so I cannot tell you more of them.
But still, after the show, if you could send me the names of those shows, and I will include them in the description of this one, because
sure,
I don't know.
Yes. If I found any other channel, I will send it to you.
Yeah, it would be really cool, because I think Spain is like a sleeper nation, maybe because of the language barrier or something like this, that not many people really know a lot about. Like even I mentioned this in our pre-show conversation. We intend to make a show that is about European gaming, and we do speak to people from Scandinavia, from Germany, and so on, from the UK, but we've never had anyone from Spain on the show, just because I don't know, too far away or something. Yeah. I have no idea. Joker, why?
I'm a bit shy as well, I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be nice to just bring the more information about the Spanish community to the internet out there. So yeah, if you can provide me with those names and some links, that would be great. Not only for us, but also for our viewers.
Of course.
All right. Yeah, there was a point for LVO one year where the Spanish language stream had more viewers than the English language FLG stream did. Yes. And I think that was the moment where I was suddenly introduced to the fact that Spain's scene is humongous. And yes, maybe people just don't know it.
You have Latin America too, which speaks Spanish, and maybe they want to see the Spanish streaming. So I think this is the first year the WTCs will get the Spanish stream. So it is a nice point of approach to the community. So I think it's a positive thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nod to the Spanish-speaking part of the community, and it's great that it's growing that way. Gents, any other questions?
I was thinking about moving to 10th. Sorry, yeah. Nathan.
That's what I was going to say. So is it time to trash talk 10th again some more?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. So Gabriel, last time when we had Pumba on the show, the captain of the Polish national team, he said that the Polish players it was a week ago, bear in mind, but they said they have like 20 games played or something like that individually. Yesterday, it's Wednesday today. No, it's Thursday. So 2 days ago on StatCheck, Anthony said that within, I think, the first, Nathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first 10 days he played 30 games of 10th edition. Yeah. So can the Spanish players boast the same, and how do you feel about the 10th edition then?
Well, I don't think we played. Adding every game we played, I don't think we reached the 30 games of that guy.
Yeah, so Anthony
But
is crazy about
yeah,
like that. Uh-huh.
yeah. For me, for example, I think I played like 5 games or something like that. But I'm not a player, so I'm not worried about that. My
Mm.
players, some players have played like 3, 4 games. They are just doing lists, and so, of course, there are players that maybe play 3 games in a day, like a tournament, but other guys have families and children and something like that, and they cannot play that much, of course. And we all, as I said, we all are waiting to the final rules, the final tables, so we can start real practice. I think games here, of course, are a bit dominated from the towering, from the elder, and something like that, and we can get the final conclusions. So they are not like super obsessed with playing right now, because a lot of people actually don't like the state of the game right now. It is a fact. I think it is not fun when you wipe all of your opponent's army in 2 turns with no point of play. So I think a lot of people is in that mood. But yes, I think like 20 games for something like that for the team. That's the point when we are.
Are
Right.
there rule? Oh, sorry.
No,
David,
go on.
ahead.
Go on.
Oh, is there a rule in 10th that you do like though? I feel like a lot of people have a lot of rules that they hate, but are there anything in 10th that you think is a good change, or at least is a positive play experience change?
I think 10th edition is a good edition. I think the rules are fine. The only thing that I think it is a bit of return back to the previous editions in the shooty version is the difficult combat manipulation. It was a really important thing in 9th edition, when you can use the combat and use the church to move around the table to create some really good plays, and that the opponent doesn't even think about, with the moves, the consolidation, the pile-ins, the things like I just charge you here, but now I consolidate piling into the other guy, so you cannot fight me. But then I consolidate into the other guy, so you then cannot shoot. I think all of this is lost in 10th edition, because you are like a bit of constrained to do what the rules say, that you have to base, and you want to fight, you have to base. And okay, you kill your opponent, do you want to consolidate? Yes, you have to engage, or you have to go into an objective. You cannot move at all. So that is a bit of I think a bit of a disappointment for many of the players here, which liked how the combat phase was worked in 9th edition. But apart from that, I think the core rules are good. The way the rule book is written and the special rules back, I think everything is a positive thing, especially for the new player, to have everything on the just the book. And of course you have the rules reference, but I think that it is more focused about the specific tournament play, and in the more complex situations like the WTC FAQ, you don't need to know it perfectly to play the game. I think the core rules are really good written, and I actually like the rules. The problem, of course, as we said before, the towering. I think the towering is a good solution of the problem that was the big knights in the last edition. When I played Imperial Knights in the last edition, and it was like, I will hide my biggest knight in this ruin, and this guy won't fight, won't shoot anything in the game, and just he's here for the buffs. And I think I'm spending like 1/4 of my list in just buff and don't do anything, because if he goes out of the ruin, he will just die.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a shit, because it was they could be shot in the small ruins of the WTC, with you cannot fire back at the unit it was firing at you. So that was a bit of a problem for me. The towering solves that, but the towering, I think it is a bit powerful, but I don't think it's for the rule. It is for the points. I think, and of course for the terrain, because if you play in a proper terrain, the towering means not that much. Of course, you get line of sight, but if you are hiding under a wall or something like that, you are still need line of sight to shoot. So I think it's not the towering keyword the problem, the terrain and the points are the problem, because you actually can fit more big knights than earlier, which is a bit awkward when a lot of factions were up in points. So it is, and that I think that point is the one of the biggest problems of the edition. And the devastating wound mechanic, I think it's not that bad, but of course the points should be according to that. We all know that the Night Spinner doing mortal wounds and rerolling to wound, it's for 140 points. It is a bit just math, the same as Wraith Knight. And even though when you have the auto sixes from the dices, we all know that is underpriced. And if the Wraith Knight costs 600 points, 500 points, I don't think it's a problem anymore.
Absolutely.
So I think the rules are good. I like the rules, except from the little part of the combat, which I think we could go back to 9th edition. But anything else, I think it's good. Even the stratagems the basic stratagems are really powerful, very interesting to use, not like the ones before, which you just use the reroll and the counter-offensive, and that's it. Maybe the insane bravery, but you have now 8 stratagems that are good and you can use really in the game. And I think one other positive change is that we have less stratagems. I think it is a very nice change, because for someone who is new to the game and then wants to start competing, it is very hard to learn all the fucking profiles of the army. But if you add the stratagems, the rules from other detachment or something like that we had in 9th edition, the supplements that were like the Homunculus Coven, the March, the Mechanicus thing, and so on, that even more stratagems to the game. I think that was a problem for entering the game, and I think that's a positive change too. With you have 14 stratagems and that's it. I think it's very good.
Yeah, I think you touched I'll just want one sentence of commentary. I think you touched upon an important point that was confirmed by Lim, whom you've mentioned already. I think on Art of War, very recent episode where he was interviewed by Nick Naravari, and he said that we all forget that with 10th edition, GW is not only focusing on the existing player base, but they are also focusing on the newcomers and new players to the hobby. They want to bring as many people as possible. And with that in mind, the game just cannot be, the entry threshold cannot be like that high, because it will just deter people from the game. So what they are trying to do is bring everything down a little bit, tone down everything a little bit, just to make it a little bit more attractive to newer players. And it's very easy to forget when you focus on this competitive scene all the time. Sorry, Joker, back to you.
I just wanted to ask Gabriel, what do you think of the missions, though, returning of the card system?
I have to say that I love the cards, and it was the most loved thing about the 7th edition. I think it was 7th edition, was the Maelstrom deck. For me, it was a very, very interesting way to play, because you have to adapt to not only to the opponent and you have to react the opponent and the way he moves, but you also have to adapt the things you have to do to score points. So for me, it was amazing and super fun to play. And the tactical deck we have now, I think it is quite good, because you still have the chance to just pick 2 secondaries and that's it, and you can design your list to maybe play for it, but not the way that 9th edition was played. I mean, if you played Arcanius in 9th edition, you knew you will score 45 secondary points, even if your opponent almost tables you. And I think that was very, very boring actually, because you ended up choosing the same secondaries all over and over, and with the new deck you still can go for engage on all fronts from something like that, or if the opponent is heavy on characters, you play assassination, okay, but it's not that you have all the points just scored from secondaries. I think that's a good point. And the tactical missions in the tactical play in which you just pick 2 cards every turn and try to accomplish them, I think it's very well worked. I think it's a very good deck. And you have some cards that instructs you to kill, some cards that instructs you to do actions, well, the 9th edition actions, I mean. And I think they have a good balance, and you still have the 1 CP stratagem to just swap a new order, or you can discard a card to get 1 CP. So it is not like, oh, I draw like a sheet of cards, so I will spend 2 turns into doing nothing more than cycling my card. No, you have 2 cards, and almost every card is accomplishable. Maybe except the control your opponent's objective marker, but the others are maybe accomplishable. So I think the deck is good. I actually like it. I regret playing my last games with fixed missions because I really love the tactical, but I think for the moment it was the correct choice. But I think the tactical missions are very fun, and I love to play it.
Yeah, I mean, the fixed one, you just have to try them to know what they are like. But do you think that your younger players, especially players who perhaps have not been playing in 7th when the mission deck was a thing, do you think it's going to be hard for them to adapt to the new reality, or have they like grasped it like that?
Our newest players are how do I say it? They have a lot of time. So they can practice a lot. So that's no problem for them. I think they got it even earlier than us, so no problem for
Fair
them.
Enough.
Even it is a mechanic that they didn't play before, but it is I think a very intuitive mechanic, very easy to understand and easy to accomplish. So I don't think it is a problem. Even for new players, I think it is very straightforward and even easier than primary, because for primary, I think you need to think about next turns, how you will be positioned, how can you hold this point without your opponent killing your units. But with the tactical, just you go there, you do an action, or you kill a unit, you get the points. So I think it is easier for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that the last game I played on TTS, I don't know how about the other guys, but I played that mission for the first time where you actually have to push objectives towards your opponent's like deployment zone, and it caught me completely. But it caught me like completely by surprise, because I was putting my units on the objective and was like, "Ha! I'm holding this right now." They're like, "But you're supposed to move it." And I'm like, "What do you mean move it?" And especially with things like these. I don't imagine doing that on an actual table with this, because it would mean moving half of the terrain around, which I think I need to get new objectives.
It does feel like Games Workshop decided to obsolete our neoprene markers that we all bought in the last editions.
I expect that particular mission is not played in WTC because it is a pain in the ass for I think everybody.
I mean, it's fun as hell once you get the grasp of it, or the gist of it, but it is problematic when it comes to like practicality and so on. Yeah, I need to ask you, and this will be a question to all 3 of you now, because there is one aspect of this 10th edition that no one really speaks about, I feel. And I'm just curious, has any of you, Joker, I know that you went to an event this last weekend and played 5 games in a row. Nathan, you must have played some as well. Draven, you're obviously training for the WTC. Has anyone ever used a gambit?
So I want to say, I still haven't played my first game of 10th edition yet.
All right. Okay.
But I can tell you what I'm hearing from people who have talked to me about it.
that's good enough.
People have been playing Gambits,
Okay.
but Gambits, from what I've understood, have not won any games based on people I've talked to so far. Like, people have taken them, but it's never caused the game to flip from why that person was taking the Gambit in the first place, which was that they were going to lose.
Mm-hmm. Okay, understood.
One of my opponents played one Gambit once, but it was like the one the one in which you have to scan the corners, I think, and you have to roll a 12. So I think that's the worst one, because they just roll, and in the best of cases you add 2, so you still need to roll a 10 maybe. So it is very hard to achieve, and of course it is just a dice roll. So
Yeah,
I think the others are even interesting to play or fun to try, and even they can be scoreable, controllable, or something like that. But of course, the corners you still need to roll very high. So the others are like rolling on 4+, and if you do the things you have to do, if you even can reach the 50% success. So it is reasonable. So the gambits are there, but I don't expect they get into play that much.
All right, Joker, your experience with that?
I have not played the Gambit or any Gambit, and neither have any of my opponents. To be fair, I don't think I've even read all of them.
That's what I wanted to ask about. Like, have you at least read them? Because I haven't.
They are 4 guys, please, and they are not 40.
Look, I'm running an RTT in like 2 weeks, so I had to sit down today and really make sure that I went through all of the rule books, all of the commentary, and all of the missions. But even I am not predicting like people taking Gambits like in situations that are good. The only one that I've heard that people like have even remotely had success with is that scanning one, because that's the orbital bombardment one, right? That's the one that I've heard people have thought you could succeed with just because it scores so many points. But that's it. That was the one.
Yeah, as I said, I haven't even read them, so I probably should, because I'm going to an overnight tournament this Saturday, so perhaps knowing the Gambits could help if I do poorly, but I don't know
feel
if
like
I'm gonna have the time.
With
you should
your
just
rolling,
win, Tweak.
yeah, just go for a win, because with your rolling, they're not gonna help you, mate.
Yeah, that's why I switched from Death Guard to an easier faction, so I'm gonna be playing Custodian this time, which is just like a 4-up and 4-up and 4-up and 4-up. And the test game that I've played just went so smoothly against Imperial Knights. Like I just went through them without even thinking. So if all games are gonna be like that, I'm gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna come back home early, because usually we finish those overnight tournaments at like 3 a.m. With Custodes, I hope it's gonna be like midnight.
Oh man, this sounds like an Iron Man type event where you're just going for 5 in one day, basically.
No, it's just 3. It's just 3. So
okay,
it's short. It's like an RTT, but still, it does begin at like 8 p.m. and finishes somewhere around 3 a.m. or something like that. If there are people who want to play their third game, actually.
This is the kind of overnight event I don't think I've ever heard of, because when I was thinking overnight, I was like, oh, a 2-day event. But no, you mean like
an actual night.
You mean like a midnight to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
No,
so
it starts at like 6 p.m. and finishes at 3. Yeah, 3 rounds.
Is this
we do this at our local store each month, essentially.
Is this like a thing just for Is this
it's a thing
guys?
It's a thing for dads and people who
I see.
have a hard time finding time to play and so on. Okay. Or I don't know, just people who have a difficult time getting out of the house. They can come there and just test things.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, keep your fingers crossed, because it's going to be my first time showing live with Custodes, not on TTS. So we'll see how it goes. Right. Gabriel, is there anything that you would like to plug, like anything extra apart from the things that we mentioned? Anything else that you would like to mention to the internet community, Warhammer 40k community at large? anything that they should know about Spain, the Spanish team, or yourself.
Well, about myself, I'm short and thin, so I'm not very attractive.
It will be easy to find you at the event.
Yeah. I have to say one thing about the last year's event. I hope nobody gets offended about this, but when we were coming to the hotel, when we finished, I think it was the first day, we met some Spanish, and they asked us if there was some kind of fat convention, because there were like they saw a lot of people are fat. And we were like the only ones that were seeing, and we have the Spanish flag there, and they approached us and asked, "Hey guys, there are some kind of fat convention or something like that?"
Oh, it took us an hour and 50 minutes to get to this point where it explodes.
Don't worry, I'm going to make it worse in just a second.
Go on, I can't wait.
So I'm going to continue our bird-related combat questions.
Okay, shoot.
Who, Gabriel, is going to win in a fight? An American pigeon or a Spanish pigeon?
Well, an American pigeon has to eat a lot of burgers, so there is no doubt.
Again, we have the same,
the same thing. It's the same thing again. It's just the American food system is terrible and creates mutant birds. I love it. It's great. It's perfect.
Well, it is a fact. We are like a bit of maybe how do I say it? Wild people, but we eat healthy.
I mean, me and my wife spent our honeymoon in Spain, so I understand. The food was amazing. I get it.
Yeah. The food is one of the good things here in Spain. The people are good too. I mean, we are not that toxic. We are not that. We don't have the community we had the years before. Okay, I have to say this because maybe the idea of the international scene from the Spanish community is like we are a bit of toxic or something like, or very emotional, something like that. But I think now the community is way healthier. The people are very kind. Of course, they are competitive. Of course, you can get some discussion, but the community, I think it is very nice. I think anyone who will, I think all the games will be a pleasure for our opponents in the WTC. So I expect
Awesome.
That's really
excellent.
that. And we are thin.
That makes you exceptional. Nathan, do you have, because if you made it sound as if you had like a series of questions about birds, or
No.
was that the only one?
I'm just going to come up with a different bird combat question for each episode that I'm on.
That's
Today is pigeons.
Is this like the Monty Python Holy Grail or something like that?
Ish.
I don't know. It kind of, I don't know. I've decided that I might as well just have something weird for every episode to just kind of bamboozle some poor, mostly European people at this
Unexpected European
Yeah.
people, yeah. So last time we had geese, so we had the clash of the American goose versus the European goose, and the answer from Pumbaa was exactly like yours. The American goose is, feeds on hamburgers and unhealthy food. It's going to mutate and just kill the European goose. And somehow you managed to come up with an identical answer. I think there starts to be a pattern there.
Yeah.
Look, if every single European captain answers just the same way for their WTC stuff, I'll be like, that's great. Perfect. I know what's wrong with my country.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I think we're already at that mark where we are getting close to a finish. Thank you, Gabriel, for joining us. It's been an enormous pleasure to host you. And we we cross our fingers that Spain does even better than they did last year, because to anyone who might be wondering, Spain finished 9th last year, and this is the reason why we are talking, because we are interviewing like the top 10 teams from last year, plus potentially the newcomers, maybe the United Nations team if we have the time before the event to actually squeeze that in, because the schedule is very tight. So yeah, once more, Gabriel, you've been amazing. Your English is amazing, even if you claim otherwise. And yeah, I can't wait to meet you at the event. So thanks a lot for that.
Thank you, guys. It was a real pleasure to be here, and I had a lot of fun. So it was very, very, very good talk. And I expect that we do better than last year, because for me it was like not that good of a result according to the effort we put on it. So I expect to this year maybe hopefully end on top 5. I expect something like that. So
Cool.
I hope to see you there and cheer for us.
Yeah, I wanted to say
Absolutely.
we will be there to cheer for you. So we will find you at the table and be like little cheerleaders for you. So you can count on us.
Thank you, mate.
Right. So to anyone listening or watching us on YouTube, we have the same request as we have every single time. So please subscribe, please like, please follow. Click that bell button to get latest notifications if you want to be up to date with what we release. Obviously, we are on Spotify and all the other media outlets. So pick one or more and like us there and follow us there. This will appear on Spotify very quickly. So yeah, thanks for following, thanks for watching, and we're recording the next one with Netherlands, I think, on Monday. So stay tuned, because there's going to be a lot of good banter as well. And from what I know, Nathan is still joining us for that episode.
For
I
bird
am.
combat insight.
Yeah, just think of a good bird this time.
I'm gonna. Oh, I'll think of another good bird. Don't worry, I'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Ask for another country, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, Joker, for being an awesome host as always. Thank you, Nathan, for joining us yet again and for bringing your weird questions to the show. I can't wait for the next bird question. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Until next time.
Bye bye.